the issue is not us. Black women, specifically black women, the issue is not us. There is something going on with these men, and for the life of me, I do not understand what it is. Morning. Having my morning coffee. 4 kids, you need your coffee. So I've been compelled to share my story. Never in a million years did I think that at 34 years old, college educated, my parents being immigrants to this country, worked hard to give me everything, that I would become a single mother of 4. Now, what I'm about to say is not to step on any toes or hurt any feelings, but this is my truth. I don't know if this has been true for y'all, or if you know people that's been through this, have come across men, but I started going down the rabbit hole on TikTok about at the point in time I didn't even know what narcissism was. I was just Googling things that was going on in my relationship, and narcissism was coming up, and bipolar personality disorder was coming up, and schizophrenia, and just all kinds of things that just didn't make sense at the time. Fast forward some years, I'm finally at a point where I've realized the issue is not us. Black women, specifically black women, the issue is not us. There is something going on with these men, and for the life of me, I do not understand what it is. I live in a very diverse area. White people, Indian people, Hispanic people, Asian people. Even on the block that we live on, it's only 2 black families, and we're the youngest with kids. The other black family, they're a little bit older. Everybody else on my block, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, they're stay-at-home moms, or they have a side business, like their husbands, partners understand their priority is the home. And I'm not speaking for them because I really don't know what's going on in their household right now. But I'm specifically speaking for the black community and black men. There is something wrong with our black men. And for the life of me, I cannot understand what it is. Help me figure it out. So this is me sharing my story. I tell young girls all the time, especially from what I know now, from what I wish I knew back then, always center yourself. Always, always, always center yourself. Because there are thousands of women, like, our relationship ended September of 2023. That's when he officially moved out. And we've been in family court since November 2023. We are now in March of 2025, okay? And if I knew then what I knew now, I would have moved completely different. First and foremost, my ex is a pilot, a FedEx pilot. And anyone in aviation will tell you that is the hardest job to get. That is the hardest interview to land, because just to be a pilot, it takes immense amount of training and hours. It's very expensive. But to be a black pilot, you got to be the top of the top. You got to be on your A game. And you pretty much have to be perfect to go against, no offense, mediocre white men. Because it's so, it's not proportionate in how they hire and who they hire, because there really isn't a lot of black pilots out there. So you may be interviewing for a job against 400 other men, and you're the only black person. So I would say that alone attracted me to him, because I'm like, okay, I'm a hard worker, I'm a go-getter, I have 3 college degrees. Even though I was a stay-at-home mom for almost 5 years, I still prioritize my education, because again, I come from a family of immigrants. They come to this country, they hustle, they go-getters, they don't take no for an answer. So it's in me. And I saw that, and I'm like, okay, we could build something together. We could move mountains, and we could raise a beautiful family, and we could give them the life that we wish that we had, even though he's not Caribbean, he's not Hispanic like I am. He is Black American, but his family, they come from small, humble beginnings, and I'm like, okay, he has a good family. His parents are still married. They're solid people. You know, this should work. Wrong. One thing I would say that as women you have to look for when you decide to choose a partner, first and foremost, the person you marry and who you have kids with, that is the single most important decision of your life. That will change the trajectory of your life like no other. You have to be careful who you choose. And when you look for these men, don't look at money. Don't look at what they have. Don't look at their family. What you look for is character. You look for integrity. You look for honesty. You look for respect. You look for how does he treat you when he's upset. Those are red flags that I overlook because, again, I was taught, especially as a Black woman, you get with a Black man, you hold him down, they go through things, just be there, support him, and encourage him, and just pretty much do. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat and a lot of comments about what I'm about to say next, but the whole trad wife, stay-at-home mom, it's a trap. This is not the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s, where you could stay home and these men have pensions and they have retirement where if you divorce, you could get half. Now, I'm speaking specifically for Black women. We all know that the average Black man does not make $100,000. They make maybe between $50,000 and $60,000, right? So if y'all go y'all separate way, you really think that he's going to be able to afford alimony? You really think he's going to be able to pay child support himself, a new relationship? Because you all know when they get in new relationships, that's a whole nother issue. Now you're actually fighting for just the little that you need to take care of the child. Right now, the average daycare cost for one child in the U.S. is about $1,500 a month, right? Half of that is $750. So you really think a man, right? You really think a man that is bitter because y'all ended, right? Has no access to you anymore, is gonna willingly pay $750 in childcare, right? That's just the daycare. That's not the food. That's not the clothes. That's not everything else that the child needs. And still co-parent and still respect you and still not make your life hell? Nah. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. That whole stay-at-home mom, you know, you look on social media and they live this glamorous life and they're traveling and she lives in this big house and she got this nice car. You don't know what those women have to put up with. You don't know. You have no idea what those women have to put up with to have that. And if you really think about it, a lot of them are creating content to make money. Why do you think they're making money? Come on, put two and two together. This is not no fairy tale life. Now, I know I'm gonna get comments like, oh, my husband gives me everything. You know, he'll never cheat on me. He's good to me. Okay, congratulations. You want a cookie? Good for you. The exception is not the rule, okay? We need to be smart. We need to be strategic. This is business. This is business. Do what makes sense. So if you're gonna stay home, learn to do something. Learn to make sourdough. Go sell it at the farmer's market. Learn to braid hair. Watch some kids. Clean houses. Keep some money for yourself. Keep something for yourself. I'm telling you, if I did not have another bank account, honey, me and my kids will be starving on the street, okay? Because this man, when he left with nothing, okay? Nothing. I had to go apply for Medicaid. I had to go apply for food stamps. I had to go on WIC. Right now I'm in the process of trying to see if I could get daycare assistance just so I could be able to work, because for one child, daycare right now, for one child in my area for daycare, full time, $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month. I can't afford that. I mean, I can, but if I'm paying that in full, how am I gonna provide for the other 3 kids? That's for one child. I got 4. 2 daycare age, 2 school age. Then let's not forget the after school program fees for the older 2. So I got to do that. So you really think child support is made to cover half of all of these expenses? It's not. And we already know child support, that's a whole nother topic that I'm not even gonna get into right now. Child support, it's no guarantee that you're gonna even get it. So it's a whole bunch of BS. Women go online and they're like, oh, well, if we ever divorce, if we ever split, at least I'll get child support, I'll get spousal support. Okay, yeah, but guess what? He has to actually pay it. He actually has the money. He actually has to have the money to pay it. And a lot of times, what do these men do? They switch careers, they lower their income, they quit, they put things in the new girlfriend name, the new wife name, the mother name. They do whatever they got to do to get out of paying. So as black women, especially black women, think smart. Don't sit home. If you're going to sit home, work from home. Do something on the side, at least where you have income coming in for at least 6 months. So that way when you go and file your taxes the next year, you could get a little bit of money back. Put that money in a savings account. Put it in a CD account. Put it in a high yield savings account. Invest in some stock. Open up a retirement account. Do something. Do not sit at home and think that these men just love you so much that they're just going to give you so much and you never have to worry. Because trust me, these women that you see online, not all, but a lot of them, they're dealing with something to have that life. And it is not worth it. It's not worth your mental. It's not worth your health, because you don't know what that man is doing when he steps foot out the door. I know I'm going to get comments where women's like, oh, I know where my man is at. But okay, good for you. The exception is not the rule. Don't do it. Luckily for me, I started a little, I guess you could say like a hobby baking / business. When I was in college, I learned to make cakes and cupcakes. And I've always kept that on the side. So when I need to pick it back up and sell to family and friends, I could do that. And between that, I sell my kids' clothes on the side, anything. I had to sell so much stuff around the house just to be able to afford groceries for my kids, okay? This man is a FedEx pilot. He makes over $100 an hour. And I had to go apply for food stamps and sell my kids' old stuff to be able to buy groceries, to be able to put gas in my car, to be able to put car insurance on my car, just to survive. It's not worth it. Don't sit home. And if you're going to sit home, do something. Go back to school. Learn a trade. Take a class, a semester online. So that way, if shit hit the fan, at least you're halfway through a degree, or you have a certification to where you go get a job. I read something online that said for every year that a woman stays home and out of the workforce, that's 2 years of wages lost in the workforce. And when you do the math, just staying at home, you know how much money you're saving that man on childcare, housekeeping, meal planning. Staying at home is a job. That shit is tiring. And you know what? Not all, but these men look at it as, well, that's your duty because I'm providing. But what happens when he don't want to provide no more? What happens when he don't like you no more? What happens when he wants to go out there and do whatever he want to do with whoever he want to do it with, and now you're stuck like Chuck? So the only thing I could advise, ladies, don't stay home. Don't do the whole trad wife. If you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, that's cool, but always keep something on the side for yourself. Don't do it. Don't be a stay-at-home mom. Don't do it. Like, the fact that I was dependent on him to help pay my nursing school, like he wasn't even paying all of it, just a portion of it. The fact that I was dependent on him for that, he would use that as leverage, you know, coming and going, silent treatment, being with other people, you know, I would need money for stuff, withholding money, acting like he didn't have money. Like 1 year he filed taxes, right? Claimed the kids. He got the money back, bought himself a third vehicle. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm still riding my Ultima. Okay. He goes and gets himself a third vehicle, a vehicle so he could just leave it at the airport. So whenever he needs to get back and forth from his crash pad to the airport, he has a vehicle. And I'm like, so your priority is to get yourself a runaround car instead of making sure that I have a vehicle big enough to accommodate 2 car seats and 2 booster seats, right? And he would just make these promises like, oh, don't worry. When I start making more money, when I upgrade, I'm going to get you that Suburban that you want, fully loaded, blah, blah, blah. And now I look back, and the more I learn about narcissism, that's just the game that they play. They keep moving the goalposts. They keep dangling something in front of you so that way you're like, oh, yeah, you know, this is a normal relationship. This is how things go. You know, you work together, you guys try to make it work, and, you know, everything's going to work out. You know, I'm in nursing school to further my career because I want a career change. You know, he's working up the corporate ladder in his career, and everything's going to be fine. But the more I learn and the more I Googled and the more I tried to figure out like what was going on, that's like one of the key traits of narcissism. They keep moving the goalposts so that way they keep you confused, so that way you could keep performing, so that way you think that something's wrong with you, and it's like theatrics, you know? And again, don't be a stay-at-home mom. Like, if you're going to do it, make sure you keep a part-time job. You have something lucrative coming in on the side to where at any given point they flip on you and you could be out. Like, I literally felt like I had no other choice, you know, and he knew that I was depending on him for nursing school. He knew that, and he would use that to his advantage. Like, let's say he didn't like something I did or something I said, he would intentionally keep me waiting, having anxiety, not sleeping, like, hey, are you going to send me the money to pay the tuition? Hey, you know, literally talking to myself, leaving voicemails, calling, no response, silent treatment. And it would always be like after, I wouldn't even say an argument, like just after a disagreement where he knew, you know, the time was coming up to pay my tuition and I would be looking for the money. And it just got to a point where I'm just like, yo, I'm tired of these games. Like, why do I have to keep begging you for just decency? And I'm saying that to say that when you depend on a man financially, they know that you're depending on them. And to me, I feel like not all, but the ones that are like immature and they don't have good intentions, they use that as leverage to be like, oh, well, I can get her to react a certain way, or, you know, I could get her to do this or do that, because they know that you're depending on that money. Like, there were times I needed to buy something and I'll be like, okay, well, just send me the money. No, he would make me wait till he got off work and would take me to, let's say, Walmart or Target, and come with me to the checkout just to swipe his card. And it was just so weird because I've had, you know, several boyfriends before this, and it was always, hey, what you need, send the money or whatever, or give me the card, you know, buy what I needed to buy. It was never like that controlling to where they had to come in the store with me, walk up to the register and swipe the card to make sure that they put the card back in their wallet, you know? And a lot of times I would look at him like, do you not trust me? Like, you think I'm going to run off with your money? Like, what's the big deal? Even if I was, you know, buying something online, I'll be like, hey, can I use your card? And he'll be like, well, just send me the cart and send me the login information. I've never experienced that from a man. I don't know if y'all have, but I've never experienced that from a man. You know, if I needed something, they would just send the money. Hey, how much is the cart? $250. All right, here's $300. You know, keep the change, right? Not send me the cart so that way they could buy it and make sure it's delivered to the house in their name. Like, it was just weird. Weird. And I'm saying that to say that being a stay-at-home mom, you subject yourself to so many gaps. I'm going to say gaps of inequality, because a man knows that he can do it, and he knows that if you have the financial backing and you could pick your shit up and go, or you could go rent an apartment across town, or, you know, that he can't hold that over you. But once they know that you don't have the money and you don't have the means and you're depending on them, I feel like they use that as a way to manipulate you and control you.
Now, y'all let me know if y'all want a part 2 on this, because it's a lot to unpack here, and there's so much more videos talking about this specific situation. But my issue with this person's opinion is, she came on the platform, she told people not to be stay-at-home moms, she talked about the statistics of how much black men make, but then turn around and lets everyone know that she had 4 children with a pilot who makes way more than who is she talking about. So who is your demographic of people you're talking about? Ladies, if you want to come out and you want to say your story, tell your story. Just tell your story. Don't be over here trying to trigger other women who got whatever they got going on, and you sitting here talking about how a man is going to mistreat you because he only makes 40,000 or 60,000 or whatever, and you have a baby with a man who makes over 6 figures, and he's a pilot. So, and what irritated me when she said something was wrong with this black man, with black men, instead of saying something is wrong with that particular man, because she's the only one that, as far as we know, who came out and said something about him. She decides to go in on all black men. But later, in a couple of videos down, she talks about the male black friend she has that's sending her money so she can feed her kids. That's what I be talking about. So you too busy in the comments or talking to people, telling them how they shouldn't be stay-at-home moms and how something is really wrong with black men. But then you have other black men that you deem to be good black men because they're financially supporting you and emotionally supporting you. But black men are the problem. This is why you just need to stick to your story, because not everybody's story is going to be the same. Now, as far as being a stay-at-home mom, I agree with the fact that you should have something, but not because a person can leave you or whatever. You should just have something on your own in general. Me, I've been a stay-at-home mom for years, but I always had something to do on the side, because I can't just be sitting here in the room all day cleaning up and just cooking. That's it. It's so much, and even if you clean up and you cook, what else is there to do? You know, that's just my personality. I just couldn't fathom just being at home all day doing nothing. That's just me, myself. But I feel like, yeah, you should get something to do, some little extra income, something to do, because clock this T too. As supporting and loving as your spouse or partner is, God forbid something happens to him. You know what I mean? And you should have not just his money to fall back on, but you should have something for yourself as well. And that's just my personal belief based off of my childhood and how my life ended up turning an unexpected turn. So that's just a trigger trauma for me. It has nothing to do with a guy or whether he's going to be there or not. So plus, my mom, she's out, and my sister, we always was taught to, just have something for yourself, not specifically because of what a guy can't do. It had nothing to do with that. It's just why you gonna just be sitting here chilling all day? Find something to do. Because when you get bored, y'all done heard the stories about what some of these stay-at-home moms be doing when their husbands at work. Some of them got caught. And I was just like, you be on World Star like, what? You needed something to do. You needed a hobby. You needed a job. You needed some type of something. Because being up under kids all day is not going to cut it. So, with that being said, on that note, yes, do something productive with yourself other than just being at home all day. But another thing that annoyed me about what she was talking about is she got all this advice talking about you don't know if they're going to have enough money to pay alimony, and you talking about a pilot. You're not even married to this man. I had to find out later on in the comments. Somebody asked her, were you married? No, we canceled the wedding. So you're a baby mama. Baby mamas have no power. So if you were married to this man or had some type of documentation of y'all being married the time you were going through what you was going through, you very well would have got paid. You would have had the protection that you needed in order to survive, to figure out your next steps, ma'am. So that's on you. And then when you listen to her story more and more and what she's talking about and what she's saying, the time frame and the time span is not adding up. So I don't like stories like this that from people who are not taking accountability. They'll say stuff like, yeah, I was young. Yeah, I was dumb. Yeah, I didn't know. No. Because if you knew the part you played in this situation, not saying that this man is a good man because I don't know him, but we don't know you either. So you could be on here saying all this stuff. The family don't like you. So, it's something that he was telling the family. You can tell the family whatever you want to tell the family. We know sometimes the family can be ghetto. But at the same time, nobody even want to deal with the kids. Well, that's a little weird. People going to have questions because we don't know. We only know what you tell us. And this whole time she's been talking and opening her mouth is such a victim mindset of what she should have thought and everything that he should have did. And then she said he just switched up out of nowhere. But then you have a whole track record of how he was acting. A whole track record. Now, if you guys want to go down that track record, y'all let me know in the comments and I will further explain this mess. But what I will say is if you want to tell your story, let your story be valid. But don't come on here telling people not to be stay-at-home moms and you might not get alimony and you wouldn't even know because you're not married at all to even speak from that standpoint. If she came on here and she said that same thing and she was in the middle of divorce court and everything like that and she didn't get nothing, okay, that's good information. But you're not married, ma'am. You're dealing with child support stuff because y'all not married. And this is what we saying about, yes, people do get divorced, but when they get divorced, it's not going to be scot-free. It's a little bit more complicated than that. It's a little bit more complicated. You have a little bit more protection from being married. You standing on this pulpit talking about women aren't protected, women aren't safe, they can't do nothing, even if they're married. How would you know? You're not. So, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out.
We in a no hyena zone. Anti-hyena zone. It's my hyena zone.